Mark Anthony. It's always listen. It's always a pleasure. Okay, let's.
It's so nice for you to have me, Grant. Not for nothing. I've had a lot of podcasts, but beyond the shadow of a doubt, every time that you and I get together, it's fireworks. It's a great experience. So thank you so much for having me again.
So you decided to run June.
Correct. So we officially announced 6/3/2025. Previous to that, obviously, there was a lot of things going on in the background with strategy, tactics, understanding what the landscape was like, but officially announced 6/3/2025.
That's four and a half months ago.
4.5 months of hardcore campaign.
Okay, so the grassroots of any campaign is knocking on doors, meeting the people. How many people have you knocked on doors? How many people have you felt that you've met, whether at restaurants, grocery stores? The experience is overwhelming, isn't it?
It's such a great experience for the constituents and myself included, but for the city of Hialeah as a whole. We've knocked on thousands of doors. We've sent out thousands of mailers. We've sent out thousands of text messages. We are running a very different campaign here, Grant. And what do I mean by different? Yes, we are doing all of the traditional things, right? We're going on TV, we're going on radio, we're going on newspaper, we are door knocking, we're texting, we're doing direct mail, we're doing email blast, but we're also heavily invested into Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, podcast, and a lot of different alternative media points, which have, beyond the shadow of a doubt, shown to be absolutely positive within the campaign.
So what's the message?
The message is very simple, and I think that the message is the greatest thing, right, of the campaign and the reason why we've been able to connect as hard as we have. And that campaign message is the following. People, particularly residents of the city of Hialeah, are no longer interested in traditional politicians. Politicians that promise to bring down the stars and the moon and then turn their back on those same constituents that got them elected. Politicians that promise all sorts of things that they know that they can't deliver and then don't do well on their word. Politicians that say whatever it is that you want to hear in order to be able to acquire a vote and then have zero intention, okay, in completing those promises. The biggest thing about me is that I am not a politician. I am a business owner. And in business, we don't get paid based off of promises. We get paid based off of results. And that is a mentality that we need to implement to the city of Hialeah so the city of Hialeah can grow in a responsible and transparent way. Because the truth is, Grant, is that the city of Hialeah is a very, very special place. An extremely special place, and a place that has offered endless opportunity to Cuban immigrants to be able to create their version of the American dream. So, given that, right, the residents of the city of Hialeah understand that for decades, the city has been gripped by corruption. The city has been gripped by a force of not wanting it to continue to grow properly. If you look at the contrast between neighboring cities like Miami Lakes, Kendall, or even Miami Springs, Coral Gables, Doral, the amount of growth that those cities have had is phenomenal. But some way, somehow, the city of Hialeah has not experienced that same growth, although it is the second largest economy in Miami-Dade County. So the residents of the city of Hialeah are now aware of this. And they say, hey, all of these other cities are growing. Why aren't we growing? And the reason why the city of Hialeah hasn't grown is because of the lack of leadership, because of the lack of responsible administration, because of the amount of corruption, because of the amount of money that's consistently stolen. And now they're waking up to that. And that's the reason why our message is landing as strong as it is because we are not interested in being a traditional politician. We're not interested in traditional politics. We're interested in innovative ways to grow the economy so that we can keep more money in the pockets of residents and continuously grow towards a bright future.
Well, you said some interesting things. The water bill is $18 million that they owe the county.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know why we owe the county that much.
Why do we?
This is the problem. The county, many administrations ago, gave the city of Hialeah a grant for $44 million.
To build their own water plant?
To build a second water plant very close to I-75. And that second water plant was supposed to be the supplemental water source for Sector 6, which was an annex for the city of Hialeah.
Right.
What ends up happening? That second water plant was never built, and the money disappeared.
They never built it.
They never built it. It was never built, and the money disappeared.
So they used that money to carry the budget.
I couldn't tell you with certainty what they used that money for, but what I could tell you is that it wasn't used for the rightful purpose that it was granted to
How
the
many
city
years
of
ago was
Hialeah.
that?
It was many years ago. It was many years ago. Now, what happens is the following. The county says, hey, where's my $44 million because you didn't build the plant?
Right.
So then now what ends up happening is the city buys the water from the county and then sells that water to the residents for a profit to be able to cover that debt. So we are having to pay for a debt on money that was, who knows, right?
Right.
Who knows what happened to the money?
Right.
And that to me is absolutely unjust. What I'm proposing is very simple. We need to renegotiate the terms and renegotiate that debt amount,
Right.
as well as the responsibility of the water, so that the county can handle the water the same way that they do for Miami Lakes, for Coral Gables, and for Kendall. And my team and I are expected between a 20 to 30% decrease per household on the water bill. When we manage to do that, they're going to look at me and they're going to say, that's my mayor. Because I'm keeping, the biggest thing, Grant, that I want people to know is that with me, I'm going to keep more money in your pockets.
Well, I read somewhere that Hialeah is going to rebate $200 or $300 per resident.
It's $200 per homestead resident. Per homestead resident household. That's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. Humbly, I can sit across from you and tell you that it's a slap in the face, particularly when the city of Hialeah has spent more than $700,000 on the 100-year anniversary party that 170 people went to. So they rather...
Wait, it already happened?
It already happened, yes.
So they spent how much on a party?
They spent more than $700,000.
No, not just on the party.
Yeah, just on the party. Just on the party. On the party for 170 people to go to. Just the fireworks alone.
Or the 175 people. No, that's for more people.
It was supposed to be for more people, but only 170 people showed up because the weather management wasn't there. The lack of leadership was obviously shown. There's a lot of wrong in the city of Hialeah. And we cannot pretend to continue to allow this disastrous mismanagement of funds because it affects everyone.
Correct.
It affects small businesses, it affects schools, it affects property values, it affects the cleanliness of our streets, it affects the morale of residents, it affects the youth, it affects the generation that no longer wants to live in a city that's completely gripped by corruption. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And that's the predominant reason why I'm running, is because I understand this, and I understand how to properly and financially responsibly run a profit and loss. Because right now it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster.
Now, Hialeah is Mayor Strong, so that means the mayor is the manager, correct?
Correct. So it's a strong mayor and the person that's directly in charge of running the city. Correct.
All right. Let's talk about the police department.
Yes.
How many cops there are, and et cetera.
So right now we're operating at about 300 police officers.
That's incredible.
Between 3 to 310, right?
Yeah, let's say 300. And how many residents are there?
There's over 300,000 residents. So we're operating at about half a capacity.
Do you have the budget to increase that?
So it's about having the budget through cutting unnecessary cost, but also very, very important, creating a strategic reserve of assets that can supplement the necessary income to be able to lower taxes and also not have to cut essential services.
Repeat that again.
So one thing that we're proposing is creating a strategic reserve of assets. That strategic reserve of assets, very similar to what Bukele did for El Salvador, where he put $300 million into a strategic reserve, and that strategic reserve today is worth over $750 million. So if we can create a strategic reserve of assets, because we understand that the only way to grow in today's economy is continuing to invest capital, then we can lower property taxes while simultaneously returning or receiving returns from that strategic reserves that can help us grow the city out without having to raise taxes.
Well, it's funny we're talking about this. Hialeah Racetrack in the heyday, that was the center, not of Hialeah, center of Dade County. What's happening with the racetrack? I know it's not there, the casinos, but there's apartments all over the place, correct?
Yeah, so they ended up creating a parcel within that parcel and selling it off to a developer where they're essentially putting 341 units, correct, on the east side of the park. So with that, the park can no longer race horses, and it's more of a casino than anything else. But going back to your point of what the park used to be,
right?
That park used to be a historical landmark and an incredible experience for people to come from all over the world to watch horse racing.
That is a fact.
Correct.
People came all the way. They didn't know what Hialeah was.
Winston Churchill, like you have such big names, and unfortunately, that's no longer the case.
All right. Park department, the parks.
Yes.
It's always been in the heyday. The parks department was like one of the best in the county. Are they still? If not, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so it's definitely far from the very best. Right now, as it sits, the city of Hialeah has many parks with pools that are closed.
Why are they closed? Because of labor, or are they closed because of insurance?
They close for many reasons, and one of which is the inability, right, to create a buzz around parks, the inability to financially make responsible decisions, the inability to operate from a place of leadership. It's a lot of lack,
right,
and not enough understanding, not enough leadership, not enough ability to continuously grow. So the biggest thing for us is understanding that the youth does need a very strong parks program. The youth needs a place to be able to go and socialize and break a sweat and go out and be under the sun and enjoy their youth, as opposed to being on the iPad and not really connecting with children their age.
You grew up in Hialeah.
Yes, correct. And I grew up going to Amelia Earhart Park, which doesn't belong to the city of Hialeah, but it's a park nonetheless.
Which one?
Amelia Earhart Park.
Oh, yeah. But everybody, some of it's part of Opalaka, and it's unincorporated, but everybody, that's Hialeah.
That's Hialeah.
No matter what anybody says, they say, Amelia, where is it? Hialeah. They don't say
Hialeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's one of the most beautiful parks in the country.
Yes, it really is. I grew up going to that park. So for me, watching what's happening with the youth, right, and the inability for the city to offer a real parks program, it's sad. It's sad, and it needs to change, because the youth is the future, and the future under my leadership will undeniably be bright. And it all stems from your ability to create a plan and go through with that plan. And that's something that's absolutely crucial. Grant, this year, the city of Hialeah had a budget of $575 million.
$500 million.
More than $500 million, and to the penny it was spent. To the penny. And I have a huge problem with that.
Huge.
A huge problem with that. Guys, I couldn't make enough emphasis on this. The city of Hialeah is the second largest economy in Miami-Dade County, over Coral Gables, over Miami Lakes, over Kendall. And some way, somehow, when you drive the city of Hialeah, it is not perceived that way. And the reason why, it's because of the amount of corruption that's been gripping the city for decades. We need the proper leadership. We need the proper understanding of financial responsibility. We need someone who's going to run the city in a responsible and transparent way for the betterment of the residents of the city of Hialeah. And that's the main reason why I have not wanted or sought out or even accepted political endorsements. I'm the only one with zero political endorsements. And it's not because they haven't offered me. It's just I'm wise enough to understand that with political endorsements come hidden political agendas. And I am not going to be bought or sold for anyone or anything. My primary focus is the residents of the city of Hialeah. Another thing, I'm the only candidate that hasn't taken large contributions from special interest groups. And I am also not interested in that. I've had people sit across from me and offer to run my entire campaign. And my response has always been no, because they're not giving me money because I'm well dressed or well spoken. No, they're giving me money because they want to be able to manage me and they want to be able to control me. And I am not going to, under any circumstances, permit that. I am the candidate for the people, and I couldn't stress this enough. And the people know that. And that's the reason why we are having as much trailblazing success as we have. We won the first debate by a landslide. We won the second debate in a phenomenal and genius way.
Who was it in the debate?
So it was all the candidates.
How many candidates are running
So
from there?
there's 5. There's 5 candidates.
Feels like there's 50.
No, there's 5. But I will tell you, out of the top 4, the other 3 have already been involved in local politics. My question is, why haven't they done the things that they're currently promising? Why haven't they done them already? Simple as that.
Hialeah is the most unique, special. It's like its own state. It's incredible when you go through there. You know, Miami-Dade College is doing great work there. So hats off to the president of Miami-Dade College. It's making a statement for a small footprint. It's doing a great job. You have a lot of little colleges there, correct?
Yes.
You have 300,000, you said, residents?
Yes.
How's the school system? What will, when you get elected, the school system you have no control of.
Correct.
But what's Hialeah going to do to help the school system make it better?
For me, just because I don't have control over something doesn't mean that I am not willing to help, right? I am not a leader that is hands off. Hey, that's your responsibility. I don't want to hear anything about it. That is not my style. My interpretation is the following. I want to be able to work closely with the school system in the city of Hialeah, the schools of the city of Hialeah, and create a collaborative relationship so that we can help the youth learn the necessary skills, traits, and abilities to make them positive contributors to society into the future.
You have 1 school board member or 2? You have 2.
I believe so, yes.
You have Dan and Roberto.
Correct. So we need to be able to create collaborative relationships with those individuals as well as the school board to ensure that the education that the residents of the city of Hialeah are receiving in the youth is the best possible.
Some cities support it. The school board has limited funds. Some cities say, okay, we're gonna earmark this. We want you to spend money on improving the students.
Of course.
So you said Cubans. Hialeah was the largest in the United States. Is it still majority Cubans or is it mixed? What is it?
Yeah, so the city of Hialeah is the most Cubanly dense city in the United States, and in fact, the city of Hialeah has more Cubans than some cities in Cuba.
Okay, gotcha.
So it is predominantly Cuban, right? And to me, it's interesting because I always say that the only place where Cubans don't succeed is in Cuba. You grab a Cuban and you take him to Mexico. You grab a Cuban and you take him to Spain. You grab a Cuban and you bring him to the heart of Hialeah. And if that person works hard, works smart, will undeniably become a success. And it's a testament to a failed system in the regime of Cuba. But the city of Hialeah is a very special place because it's the only city in the world that has that Cuban population, and one of the only cities where the American dream is still very much alive and accessible. The city of Hialeah has offered endless opportunity to Cuban immigrants to be able to come to this country and create their version of the American dream. And that is something that I am running on very, very strongly, is protecting that American dream so that the younger generation has access to the same opportunities that I had being born and raised in the city of Hialeah.
Well, the new children have more opportunities than you do.
Correct.
I don't know, when did you come from Cuba?
So I didn't come from Cuba. I was born and raised in the city of Hialeah.
You're born and raised?
I was born and raised in the city of Hialeah. In fact, we're going to make history.
What hospital?
So Palmetto Hospital, Hialeah Palmetto Hospital. We're going to make history. I'm going to be the first mayor of the city of Hialeah born and raised in the city of Hialeah.
That's a major issue. You know, it's important because you understand the streets, you
course.
understand your school system, you understand how it is.
Every single aspect of society inside the city of Hialeah, I understand.
Okay.
Another thing.
What was that address?
So
The address that you were born in.
so
Your parents' address.
So 4524 East 8th, right? So one thing that's
love it.
One thing that's very, very important, right, is I never left the city of Hialeah.
Why not?
Because to me, it is the most special place in the world. I've traveled all over the world, Grant. I've been to Italy, okay? I've been to Bali. I've been to Colombia. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Africa. I've been to Canada. I've been to Puerto Rico.
You don't
I've been
need
to
to, you don't need to do
Dominican
that. You're in Hialeah.
Every time that I leave the city of Hialeah, I can't wait to come back. I just can't. I love the city. I love the city, and I will rep the city of Hialeah until the day that I die. Another thing that I want to get into is the experience, right? The experience so far with the campaign and everything that I've learned. I've learned so much throughout this.
When you knock on the door, an
Oh.
Englishman, Mrs. Gonzalez or Mr. Smith or Mr. Johnson, they say to you,
They say to me the following: we're tired of the traditional politician. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of the corruption. We're tired of the mismanagement. And I always tell them, I am with you. I agree with you. And that's why I'm running. I'm not running because I owe anybody any political favors. I'm not running because I'm interested in a career in politics. I am running to protect your best interest. Because out of the 4 people running, the other 3 were already involved in local politics. Meaning if they wanted to make a change, they would have done so already. But under that leadership, over the last 6 years, we've paid more in taxes, more in water, more in sewer, more in cost of living, more in everything. So I couldn't tell you, I echo the sentiment of all of the residents of the city of Hialeah, and that is why we've had such enormous and huge success, is because people understand that I am like them.
so when you're knocking on doors, how many in a day, how many times did you have to drink Cuban coffee at some
Oh, man. And that Cuban coffee from Hialeah hits different. That Cuban coffee from the city of Hialeah hits different. But listen, la colada, it's an essential part of the culture in the city of Hialeah.
Okay, so you're knocking on doors, talking to residents. What was the most interesting question or statement a citizen said to you?
One of the most interesting statements that was said to me was by a resident in sector 309, where
Address close, give me the section.
so it's very, very, very close to I would say, so sector 309, right? Right before you go off into the bridge for Barbara Goldman.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So there is a sector in that area, right, where the city of Hialeah says that they cannot fix the roads because they're private roads. And I did some digging, and I realized that what ended up happening was that there was a quote-unquote HOA that created that development, but the HOA was never an established HOA.
Just because you're an HOA doesn't mean the streets aren't public.
So they're claiming, the city of Hialeah claims that those streets are private. And because they're private streets,
You're not going to maintain them.
they cannot maintain them nor fix them. So then you have residents having to go out there and fix the streets themselves. There's so much wrong. But for me, I don't want to focus on what's wrong. I want to focus on the solutions. And the solutions at hand are very simple. We need to be able to grow the city of Hialeah in a responsible and transparent way. We need to lower property taxes to make the city, to make the city a more prosperous city. Why? Because if I save you money on taxes, you're going to invest or spend that money
Back in your community.
back into the community. So we need to lower taxes, and we're going to do it by lowering the millage rate, keeping more money in the pockets of residents so they can stabilize small and medium-sized businesses, We're going to lower the water bill by turning that responsibility over to the county between a 20 to 30% decrease,
Right.
We're going to hire an additional 100 officers, to prove to the residents of the city of Hialeah that we have their back, and we're not going to permit
That's major issues.
we're not going to permit other individuals from other cities coming into the city of Hialeah to commit their crimes, okay? We're going to work on the infrastructure with the help of developers, right? Super important that we work on the infrastructure. Apart from that, we're going to work on the trash. I have a 3-step plan on how to fix the trash situation. Number 1 is education, implementation, and execution. We need to explain and educate to the residents of the city of Hialeah how the trash aspect affects all aspects of society, okay? Schools, small businesses, property evaluations, and more.
I mean, we barely got on small businesses. Something you talked about repping the city. I think the city of Hialeah doesn't have enough of that. Promoting, there's so much culture.
Yes.
There's so much, you just music, but you don't know about it unless you live in Hialeah.
Correct.
But you talk about repping. It's like stand up. Somebody should stand up on a milk cart and say, "Look what we're doing. Look at this beautiful city."
I agree, and that's what I've done through social media. So we have over 100,000 followers across platforms, and we've made it cool. We've made it cool to say that you're from Hialeah, and people from Hialeah should take pride in their city, and they should take pride in knowing that they were born in a city like Hialeah, such a special city, such a culturally dense and rich city.
The largest city in the country that is 98% minority.
Correct.
And I think it's 98, something like that.
It's 90% Cuban.
Yeah. So there is great pride in that city, and I think you make a good point. When you get elected, you need to promote it. This is a tourist area. People go to Cayocho. Why? Yeah. You have your own little districts all over the place.
Correct.
And
that's something that we will do when I become mayor of the city of Hialeah, because God willing, I will be the next mayor of the city of Hialeah, is a financial/entertainment district, right? Where people can go and enjoy themselves in the city of Hialeah.
You do have
not just the residents, but people from the outside.
Well, that's how you make money.
Correct.
What is that? There's on the East Lower side, there's a place of music. It plays till like 4 o'clock in the morning. What's it called?
So is it Factory Town that you're referring to?
Is it still around?
Yeah, so that is by an event basis. But yes, that's still around.
And people come from all over.
Correct.
It's not Hialeah people. People
Correct.
from all over.
All over. Correct.
And people don't realize that, and I think that's part of the challenge Hialeah has, is need to start promoting that you're not just Hialeah. It's like Cayocho is everybody in the country comes there, right?
Correct. So we need that main tourist attraction to be able to draw in attention from the rest of the world, and in doing so, we will grow in such a phenomenal.
The racetrack, when in its heyday, people all over the world knew about Hialeah Racetrack.
Correct. It was a historical landmark. People from not just from the nation, from the world. People from the world came to watch the horse races
in
Hialeah Park.
So there's so many great things. Okay, so when's early voting?
So early voting starts on the 27th of October, and it goes all the way to the 2nd of November. So from October 27th to the 2nd of November, then the official election day is the 4th of November. My message is the following. Number 1, my message is to the youth. I need your help. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your aunt, tell your uncle, tell your cousins, tell your grandfather and your grandmother. Tell everyone and anyone that you know that Marc Anthony Salvat 103 is the only solution for the city of Hialeah. Another thing, we have over 90,000 people that are registered to vote in the city of Hialeah. If you feel disenfranchised, if you feel misrepresented, if you feel lied to and exhausted by traditional politicians, I want to be the voice that represents you. Go out, exercise your right to vote, exercise your ability to vocalize your opinion, because this will be the most important election in the history of the city of Hialeah. 103, Marc Anthony Salvat, the only option for a prosperous future for the city of Hialeah.
On that, let's wrap it up. Grant Miller here. It's proud to be with you, Marc Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Keep Hialeah number 1. Everybody, have a great day. Go out and vote.
God bless you guys.